time. Another week. ZTGD Radio. This is episode 835 for guess what? March 3rd, 2025. Year just blazing on by. On the show this week, we got Anthony.
Mistakes were made. I am here.
Terrence.
What up?
I got the Wombat too.
Electric Boogaloo.
That's exactly what went through my head when I said that.
You know, I've never seen that movie.
What?
I was just about to say
Never
the
seen
same
it.
thing.
Which one? The
Yeah,
first
I've
one or
never
the second
seen it.
one?
I've seen the first one. I've never seen
Oh,
the
okay.
second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen the second one.
Like, I feel like the first one is just forgotten to time because the second one is the only one anybody ever talks about.
Yeah,
And it's all
and that's just
because
because
of
of
the
the
title.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. If you ain't seen it, man, you don't know about Turbo.
Nope.
Unfortunately, I do know about Turbo.
You seen the Chappelle skit? It looked like Turbo
Nah.
from Breaking.
Yeah.
Oh man, we gotta save the rec center. Oh, come on, that movie is like the staple of like we gotta break dance to
that's
save the
literally-
rec center.
That's literally the
Well.
plot of Ali G's movie.
Oh,
What?
yeah, it is.
Break dance to
Break
save
dance
the.
to save the rec center.
Yep.
Hell
They have
yeah!
to save the rec center, and then it does involve breakdancing to save it. I think they do I don't know, there's a lot. That movie's not good, very good.
It was not, no.
But there's a moment where they have to connect, reconnect the power or something like that. And so one person has their hand on the wire, and then they all hold hands, and they like do the wave.
Yep.
To get, you see that power travel through the
Yep.
wave, and you're like, all right, okay.
Man, sometimes you mention these dudes that had like a small run of popularity and then they just disappeared. Like when you said Ollie G in my brain, I was immediately like, man, that reminds me of like Tom Green. Remember when that was a thing for like 2 years or something?
Wow.
But Tom Green never.
Yeah,
he's
he's
fine.
back. He's like doing a comeback tour, and I'm like, nobody needed you to
done a
come back.
podcast. He's done a podcast for like, I think he's probably got one of the oldest podcasts. He was doing shit online before anybody else, call-in show and stuff.
Oh, well, good for him.
He's a weird dude.
I mean, that's
looked-
kind of
yeah,
obvious.
he just
But
like
he
an
never,
odd
but
duck.
he never reinvented himself. Like at least with Sacha Baron Cohen, he was like, all right, and now there's Borat and
Man,
all the characters he did on
I feel
TV.
bad for people, but like, did you see all the headlines about his divorce? Everybody's just like, my wife.
No. Well,
I have.
I did
I
not
have
Yeah,
see
very-
all
the
that.
I have
best,
very-
the best one that I saw, it said, had asterisks around sadly, and then my wife.
My wife.
I don't have a lot of sympathy for him. So.
I think it's funny that people took that song that he made. It was like making it political, and I was like, do you know who this is? Like, just
Yeah.
curious. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, video games. Let's talk about those. What we can talk about, I guess. Anthony, what you got?
Did anybody play a bunch of demos in Next Fest?
No.
play some demos in Next Fest.
I did not. I kept
You have-
meaning to go back and look through some of them, but I never did.
You have hours.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it ends
I-
tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta say, I hate that.
I don't like
Some
people.
of the demos stay though. Some of them do, but
Some
the
of
majority
them-
of them, like, they take
But,
off.
but like, if I had them downloaded, why are
Right.
you revoking access?
Motherfucker,
That
that's
I hate.
that's some Nintendo shit right there. Like,
Yes,
It doesn't help build up like an audience to just remove. Like, yeah, the ones that stay cool, whatever. But like, it's just, I don't know. It feels like counterproductive. All right, so I'll start kind of. I have a bunch of them. I probably played about 20 of them.
Over. I bet we don't.
One that is not part of Next Fest. I just was like, it had a demo that I played. Is Card NCL. That is not Way Forward. The ones that did Gunvolt.
Wait, didn't that come out not too long
Inti
ago?
Creates.
Inti Creates. All right. So first of all,
I didn't ignore you,
Gaming-
Terrence. I apologize.
No, you're fine.
it came out in October.
Yeah, okay.
I
know
had
what
an
you're
interest in this because it looks like Mega Man Battle Network, which is an easy way to have my interest. It is not Mega Man Battle Network. It sort of is, I guess, but like Mega Man Battle Network is like an RPG that is also like an action game, and this is purely an RPG. You burn cards to move, and you use cards to attack or heal or whatever.
Yeah.
And Ken just audibly gasped. Sigh.
No, I
didn't
was
know they had a
that was
demo.
yeah. That was, fuck?
It does look like Mega Man, and it's clearly taking its inspiration from the Battle Network series. Obviously some Inti Create stuff, like there's a Gunvolt card and stuff. Man, some games just too goddamn horny. Like, this girl does not need boobs this size of her head. You know, I just don't get it. Like,
Dude, did you see the mods for Monster Hunter? Holy shit!
No, I don't have. I'm not looking for the mods for Monster Hunter. which
I
probably
just saw them
helps.
crop up on Twitter. I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
the
I'm not on
fuck?
Twitter, so that's.
I'm sure
saves
they're on
me
Blue
from
Sky too. Don't act like Blue
I
Sky
don't
ain't
follow-
horny.
No,
Just
I don't follow those people there. Clearly, it is well. It looks like a mobile game though. Like, just the art style is that very weird, clean digital artwork. I will probably pick it up on sale just because I did like the gameplay of it, but the story seems stupid. Yeah, that was the one that wasn't from Next Fest. The one I told Terrence to try is called White Knuckle. I'm going to take that silence as Terrence did not try White Knuckle.
It had white
No, I
in
did
the
not.
title.
It's installed.
He said
wow.
no.
Wow. That is part of it. I installed it and I was like, oh, wait, hold on. Oh, Jesus. I gotta pray on this. Wait a minute. No,
It is a
it's
speed
installed. I haven't
climbing
played it
game.
yet though.
It's got rogue elements. It's randomized dungeons or whatever.
Oh,
But-
fuck off! What are we doing?
It's so fucking cool. It's got this like industrial look to it. Sort of. I don't want to say PlayStation, but you can see the pixel. It's like the pixelized textures and stuff. It looks very gross.
Does
Okay.
it play like Karn? Or did you play that? Karn or Karn? I don't know how to pronounce that one.
I literally
have no
thought you were
idea
about to
how do you
break
spell
out like,
that.
"I'd like a freak
It's like
on a
C-A.
leash."
CAIRN, something like that. I thought you had it wish listed too.
Yeah, I do, but that doesn't mean I've played it. Okay, so no, I can already tell you no.
Okay.
This is first person.
Oh, okay, okay.
You have two pixel art hands in front of you. You don't see your arms or whatever, and you can ready your grip with the right and left trigger. And as you hold on to stuff, your grips like your hands go from white to red. That tells you that you're exhausting your grip, and you will let go and fall if you hold on too long. So you're constantly trying to climb up to another spot where you can rest and then make your next jump. It is fascinating. I already had it wishlisted because I liked the concept of it. What an interesting concept for a video game. There is combat in the final game. I only played the tutorial and was like, yep, I'm sold on this. Very fascinating stuff. It doesn't look like anything else, sort of. I guess the closest you could say is that it looks like the other world from Silent Hill, where it's that dark industrial look. But it doesn't feel like a throwback shooter by any means. It feels like very much its own thing. I played a puzzle game called Is This Seat Taken? Very cute puzzle game. I know, what a jump. The whole goal is putting the people in the seating arrangements where, like, some people want to, like on the bus, for example, some people want to sit in the window, some people want to sit in the aisle, some people don't want to sit next to kids, some people don't bathe, and so you don't put those people next to people that can't stand the smell unclean people. It's a really
I would be one of
fascinating
those
game.
people.
Yeah, me too. But and it changes. So like at some, it's like, oh, well, you're at a wedding and some people are wearing cologne and that bothers certain people there. And you have to sit them based on what they want to eat for dinner. And I don't want to be sat next to a child at the wedding and stuff like that. And so it's very interesting puzzle game. And there's like a cute story that's told throughout. And all the characters are just shapes, little cartoon shapes. One of my favorites was the theater, where you sit the people in, and anytime you sit someone that has popcorn, it leaves the seat messy, and then the next round of people that come in to watch the next movie, some of them will not sit in dirty seats, which I feel like should be everyone, but whatever, that's just me. So I really like that game. Again, it was one of those, I'm instantly gonna put this on my wish list. I think I may have already had it on there. I played a game called Mudbourne. Alright, this one is the first game where I don't have anything positive to say. Mudbourne, the frog management sim. I like frogs. I'm like, I'll fucking try it. And it's kind of got a cute pixel art aesthetic. It's too fucking pulled out for me to know what the fuck is going on. And it's a farming sim. And I was like, yeah.
And it's a farming sim.
He was
Yeah.
real sad about that.
Man, it's not a good farming sim either. I just didn't think there was anything. I was like, this is fucking not engaging enough. This feels very by the book. Like, I don't love farming sims, but I've played Harvest Moon. Like, it had my attention enough, right? This could not pull my attention, and I think part of it is the fact that the camera is so far pulled back that it's hard for me to see what the fuck I'm doing. Just kind of like, there's pixels here, interact with them. I'm like, alright. One that I think a lot of people in this this group right now will enjoy, Beyond the Ice Palace 2. Does anyone know Beyond the Ice Palace 1?
Never even heard of it.
Nope, but I'm about to look up the second one since you said I'm like,
Okay,
go ahead.
So Beyond the Ice Palace is a Commodore game, not a Vectrex, ZX Spectrum. No, it's Commodore 64. Okay, so things that don't get talked about enough. A bunch of popular games got really weird sequels in Europe only, specifically the UK. Beyond the Ice Palace is a sequel to the Commodore 64 version of Ghosts and Goblins, because the final stage in Ghosts and Goblins is the Ice Palace. And I don't even think it had licensing from Capcom, which is why it was called Beyond the Ice Palace. So I'm like, okay, well, Beyond the Ice Palace 2, let's give it a shot. It's Castlevania. Like, that's
what it
old
looks
school
like.
Castlevania. You got your whip. He does the little spinny thing. You swing from like hooks. He kind of uses it like Kratos though at times, where like your power attack, he slams down both ends of the chain. It's fucking great. It is so fucking good. It's not a Metroidvania either. It says it is, but it's pretty linear. You can go back and forth between areas, and obviously abilities unlock stuff, but it's not a big exploratory level. And the pixel art is so fucking good. I have no idea what compelled Storybird Studio to make this, but it's fucking great. Yeah, like, since I know most of us like OG Castlevania 2, like, yeah, it's a must try.
Well, hold up now. OG Castlevania 2?
Or OG
No.
Castlevania also.
Okay, because Castlevania 2 is...
No. Not at all. Not trust me, I would say
What a
Simon's
terrible
Quest. I
night
wouldn't
for a
call it
curse.
Castlevania. Yeah. Next one was a point-and-click adventure that the pixel art in that was... It's probably the most stunning game I played just by the pixel art. It reminds me kind of Blasphemous's pixel art in the fact that it's very grotesque, stunning even, is called Centum. It is a point-and-click adventure. It is creepy as hell. It was a quick, okay, so this is what this is. I'm sold on it. I don't need to know much more, because I'm not going to start a point-and-click adventure to then have to wait a year to jump back into it. From the very little I played, it was fantastic. Did anybody ever play Demon Turf?
No,
Yes.
never even heard of
That
it.
sounds familiar. I don't think I
Okay,
don't know.
so Demon Turf is a 3D platformer, where the main character is 2D.
Yep. It's
It
like
was published-
like Paper Mario kind of style in 3D.
Yeah. So there's a sequel coming out.
That game is good.
And
That game is pretty good.
The sequel looks to be even better. It's called Demon
Nice.
Tides, and you like, I don't want to say sail, but you basically swim to other islands, and you do 3D platforming, and it's all in 3D, and it is stunning. It gives me the exploration feel of like Wind Waker. Kind of has the same sort of look-ish to it, the way that the characters originally were designed. Anyways, kind of felt Wind Waker-ish too, but now they're in 3D. Holy shit, is it fucking cool? Feels good. I was already interested because it's a sequel to a game I've played. I can't believe how fucking great it is. I am stunned. I thought, okay, so we're gonna have a 3D platform. No, it makes the first game look like nowhere near as good anymore. Comparison, how far we've come, grinding on rails and stuff.
That first one's
Yeah,
relatively old at this point. Like it's
Yeah, and I think it was published by the people that did Yooka-Laylee there.
yeah, I know who you're talking
I
about.
think it was the friends of oh my god, I cannot remember.
Fuck, what is the name of that publishing company? I can't remember.
Platonic.
Platonic, yes.
Platonic. Yeah, and the first game, yeah, it's not bad, but it's just not the it's just not
I liked
this
the
good,
first
man.
one. I thought it was.
And the first game's good. Like, that's how much better I think this game is already. Like, that you turn into a snake and you move faster and you like swim across the water at super high speeds. And I was like, okay, all right, I like this already. This is fucking great. And the character designs are fantastic. The whole beginning of the game is you get shipwrecked and then you rebuild your ship, and now you're trying to get up to the castle to meet with somebody that told you to come and meet them. It's fucking neat, and the characterization is fantastic, which is not anything new, because that was one thing that the first game did very well. Demon Tides is probably my most looked forward to 3D platformer. But that being said, there was a game I played called Haste Broken Worlds, and that is the best Sonic game that doesn't have Sonic in it. It's all about running fast.
Might be better than
Gotta
some
go
Sonic
back.
games with Sonic in it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's true too. So the character picks up speed, and the whole sort of gameplay mechanic is like pressing a button to make her descend faster, and getting the angle that she lands at right, so she can keep the speed and momentum going. So all the jumps you do are based off how good you're running throughout the level at high speed. And it's very simple and very hard at the same time. I was super impressed with it. I didn't go in thinking, oh, this is going to be a game I love. I thought, okay, well, it's a neat concept. I'll give it a shot. Very impressed. And I'll be honest, this is probably one of the best Next Fests I've played through. Like, there's only a couple games that I really did not care for. And for the most part, there's only two that I didn't like at all. One of them I've already spoken about. The problem is that some of the names are just not memorable. Like, I'm reading my list. He is coming. Yeah. Right? Okay, so this is
Gravital.
one that...
Good for
Yeah,
him, I guess.
I'm happy for you.
Wombat, you might like this one. It's the
Oh God! Well, oh geez.
I'm sorry. I should have put
What?
a bigger
It's
plot at the
unfortunately
beginning.
timed. Right.
Why might I like this one?
It's a.
Are you in the Splash Zone? What's going on? What's happening?
Fucking God.
Dude, you
Go
don't
ahead.
name your game that and not expect the jokes. I'm sorry.
So it's a. Ken, tune out. It's a rogue.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah, Ken's not
you
gonna
move
like
your
that.
character.
Nope.
Yeah, you move your character across a map. It is a 2D RPG that's supposed to look like an old computer game. All the battles are auto-battled, too, so it's more about equipping your character. It's really fucking cool. Like, you move around, when it turns to night, you can't see what anything is around you. There's campfires to rest at, and you're moving through the map, and you're battling monsters and stuff. It's a very basic RPG. I'm hoping it is a Steam Deck compatible game because I think I'll get more out of it then. But yeah, the Demon King is coming, and without a champion to strike him down, the world will surely fall to his corruption. So you're constantly trying to upgrade weapons, and I think it's a really basic RPG. Like, maybe this is a mobile game. Hold on, I'm now curious because I could see this doing extremely well on phones even. Because it doesn't take a lot to play, because all you're doing is moving your character around the map, but obviously strategically, because if you head down and fight the wrong monster, you're dead. So I was like constantly upgrading armor. But I've been upgrading my armor over upgrading my first weapon, which is literally just a stick. And then I met a fairy who allowed me to do one of two things, and I sacrificed my stick for an item of equivalent value and got a sword, and then I found a new sword that allowed me to steal health from the enemy. So it's very much like old school Rogue, but you follow a map rather than having like a room by room basis.
That actually does sound pretty neat.
Honestly, he is coming. The art style, I think, is also a big part of it. Really cool pixel art. Like not a ton of color. It's actually like the actual drawing itself
Drawings.
is very well done. Again, another game that I'm like, I played it. I'm sure I remember it, but I'm looking at the title right now. Oh, Repose. Okay. I thought this game was gonna be something very different. This is another one you might like, Ryan. It is a monochrome game, so it's all based on the actual drawing. It's a puzzle dungeon crawler. So you have to attack, like you have to prep your weapon attack before you move into the space so you can attack the enemy before it pulls out a shotgun and kills you, rather than like just swinging at each other. And the whole idea is that you're going into dreams. It's got a very sci-fi aesthetic. I really like the concept of this, but without being able to play a ton of it, I don't know how far it'll go. Like, I don't know how much story there is. But I'm definitely interested to see more. The art style alone.
What was that one called again?
This one is called Repose. Repose. Investigate the facility. Every step counts. Yeah, every step you take. Every step you take is closer to waking up. So you are sort of timed in the dungeon crawl too. Wake up. It was a bad dream. Your achievements persist through death. But the pixel art is what got me. It feels like the same sort of art style that I really loved from World of Horror, except that game is never getting updated like it should be. So, okay, I think you've seen this one, Ken. Ruffy and the Riverside.
That's so like he looks like a
Mamba
Tanuki kind of thing.
Yes,
Yeah, I want to play that. That game looks cool.
that fucking game is neat as shit. It is a 3D platformer where you can like take certain things and turn other, like, so the game literally starts off with you falling on a chunk of earth that's been cut off the side of a cliff, and you go over and you look at the plant material, and then you throw that plant material at the waterfall, and the waterfall turns into vines you can climb.
Yeah,
It's bonkers.
I'm definitely like just the art
bonkers.
style, like almost like stop motion kind of thing.
Yeah, because the character doesn't have a ton of frames of animation.
Yeah,
Even though it's like a 3D world, and yeah, he's 2D as well. Like, you know, back to that Paper Mario look. I've been watching this game for a while, and I thought it was just going to be a 3D platformer, not realizing that that was a big element to the puzzle solving and stuff. It's also just a very good 3D platformer, though. Like, they really didn't have to do that to make it interesting, but now I want to see more. I already was kind of like, I'm going to buy this game from just watching the videos of it. But playing around with it, yeah, I'm going to buy this game. It hasn't changed my thought process at all. This one is the only game that crashed. This next one. Don't know why, but it is BioShock in a carnival.
yeah. I talked about
Twisted
this
Tower.
game, Tricky Tower or whatever.
Twisted Tower.
Twisted Tower. Yeah, this game crashed constantly for me.
And you were playing on what?
I was playing on. I tried it on both Steam Deck and on my PC.
Oh, okay. Yeah! Yeah, it crashed, and I was like, okay.
Which sucks because it's really cool.
It's BioShock with a carnival aesthetic.
Yeah, like
I'm
beating the
not gonna say
clouds
that's
with
anything-
the mallet.
The hammer.
Yeah,
Yeah, and their heads blow off or explode.
it's fucking
Yeah,
creepy as hell. Like when stuff pops up behind, like the dude's floating in the sky. I was like, this game is
Yeah,
awesome, but it runs like shit and it crashes
And
constantly.
it doesn't run. It doesn't. It didn't run like shit for me, but it did. It did crash.
Oh man,
and
the
I'm
the
like,
frame
oh,
rate
that's
was
weird.
so variable when I was
Oh,
playing
was
it.
Okay, I didn't get too far in before it crashed, and I was like, all right, well,
Yeah, that game's buggy as
guess I'll see
shit.
you when it releases because it's always off still. But
Yeah, that game's got a lot of problems right now. But man, I wanted to keep playing it.
does anybody like Choo Choo Rocket?
Oh, I used to love Choo Choo Rocket, but
Yeah, I like Choo Choo Rocket.
you got to
back in
play
the
it
day.
with friends because that's where it gets wild.
Oh, okay. Well, this I don't think has multiplayer, but it's called Tempopo. Tempopo. It's very much a 3D Choo Choo Rocket sort of game, where you have the arrows to direct where the character moves. I just thought I knew it was a puzzle game. I didn't know exactly what I was getting into, but the art style was kind of cute, and I was like, all right, we'll give it a shot. And yeah, no, it's sort of like a Choo Choo Rocket game. I'm very impressed with it.
Choo,
Not much more to
choo,
say about
choo.
that. Didn't get very far before I was just like, all right, I'm sold on this concept. But like again, I'm not going to spend too much time in a demo for a game that may come out closer to the end of the year. That's the problem with some of these. They just say 2025. So I stopped looking at like when is this game coming out? Because I'm like, I'm just going to be disappointed. I'm just putting it on my wish list, and Steam will tell me when it's out. We'll wait for that one. Another game that this was one of the ones that isn't for me, but is very neat. It's called Break Arts 3. It's a mech game, but it's not just combat against other players. I guess it's sort of combat, but it's also racing against other players. Neat. Not my thing. Like it was fun to control, but I was just like, yeah, I don't think I would get a lot out of this because I'm not interested in a multiplayer only sort of game. I mean, the demo's single player, so I'm assuming there's some single player elements, but if the main draw is playing against other people, I don't think this is it for me. But it was very pretty. Neo Junk City is a point-and-click adventure where I tried to set a robot on fire, and then it told me, it's like, oh, well, it's actually filled with water, but if you try to set me on fire, congrats on failing upward. I'm like, this game has good writing and good puzzle elements. Sold. Also, holy shit, like, it looks like a sort of like Game Boy Advance sort of game with the pixel art in this. I'm just very impressed with how bright and vivid everything is. I don't see a lot of point and clicks done that way. So yeah, I really like that. Okay, so I picked. I was like, okay, I like the idea of that. Sorry, not Windows. It's Window of Perspectives, which is. It was actually Perspectives. When I saw the demo title, even though the artwork is spelled correctly, the demo was labeled with an I after the C.
Perspectives.
Perspectives. Um, it is just a case of the Golden Idol, but the whole concept, like, it's the same sort of gameplay format, like almost taken directly from it. But the whole goal is that you're looking through a window and solving a mystery. So you can sort of move where your head is positioned, so you can see around the room, but you're looking through a pane of glass the entire time. Neat concept. I will see you when you're out, type of thing. Twilight Monk. So remember how you asked if it was like Castlevania 2? I have a game that's like a different second game from the NES. Twilight Monk is goddamn Adventure of Link.
Huh.
You go into a town. The town is done top down, which is nice. Levels are played like a Metroid game, but as you move from key area to key area, it is Zelda 2. Like, you walk on an overworld map and you get into a battle and it goes to a side-scrolling game, which means I think this might be the third game to be very clearly based on Adventure of Link. Because one of the Adventure Time games did that, which was made by WayForward, so I'm not fully surprised they would do a weird game like that. But like, this is a really fucking good. I don't even know if I would call it a Metroidvania at this point. It feels really good to play. The art style is the actual art style in the gameplay is okay. The art style on the characters is a little. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It feels very DeviantArt-esque, not in a sexy way, like a very
Like a sexy way.
Not like a sexy way.
I don't know how to put it. Like, it feels very amateur. The portraits feel very amateur. Or AI. Like, something felt off about that, and I was just like, I'm not sure why these feel off. They don't maybe look like they blend well enough to some extent. Like, maybe they were drawn by different people, but it shows. I don't know. There was something off about the portraits. But everything else in that game was very well done. I like the concept. Like, the weapon you use is like a totem. And you put that down and jump on top of it to get an extra height boost, and then call it back to you. Twilight Monk was kind of a neat one. Oh god, a game that I did not like. Nitrogen Omega, which is I don't even know, turn-based RPG strategy sort of game. It kind of reminded me. Oh god, what's that game that something Fuga, where you're in
Fuga Melodies of Steel.
Thank you.
I like those. Yeah.
They made like 3 of those, right?
Yeah.
I think they're making a third one.
Oh,
yeah.
so the third one's on its way. Okay.
It's
Gotcha.
in the same. It's the same universe as Sola to Robo and
Tail Concerto.
Yeah, weird. Just a weird thing.
Man, you want a podcast with some breadth, baby? Come to the one that name drops Tail Concerto.
Tail Concerto.
Yeah, PS1 game.
Nitrogen Omega. The battles kinda work like that. How about I tell you, it's not anime, but clearly going for an anime style. It kinda does not look good. You get a randomized crew, and then you take jobs, and you have to get into battles, and you fly around like a world map with sort of no real great direction telling you where you should go next. And every time you move your ship, it's taking fuel, and you have to fuel up at. I was just like, you know what? This is too much shit. It's not. This is not compelling enough. I don't. Wandering around is not fun as is. Like, not knowing what to do next is not necessarily the most fun in games. It depends on the game, of course, but like this is not doing that well. And then putting a fucking fuel meter on it already had me at go fuck yourself. The art style not being fantastic. Like, this is a game that, like, on quick glance, I'm like, I should like this to some extent. Right? Like, the art style I can forgive if the game is fun. The game is not fun. I was like, yeah, this is just not... I'm not gonna say it's not for anybody. It's definitely not fucking for me, though. I did not like anything I saw from it. I was like, you know what? As soon as I saw the battle screen and started going to the tutorial, I'm like, I'm just done. This is too much for this game that I'm already just not enjoying. So that was one where I was like, yep, we're done here. Skin Deep is an Annapurna game. That is a comedy immersive sim, sort of, where you're on a spaceship and you're kind of playing John McClane. You mean it's a woman, but she isn't wearing shoes, which is a big part of it. So, like, at one point, you land on broken glass, and you actually have to pull the glass out of your feet and bandage up. You take pepper and throw them at the enemies, and then you jump on their back and run them into things that are on the wall. And the enemies will respawn because their heads fly off. It's a thing in lore where they have skull savers, so they'll regenerate the body and put the head back on the new body. So you have to actually, before they get to regen, you have to pick up their head and shoot it off of the ship. So, like, the first time you do it, you put the head in the toilet and flush the toilet. The other one you put in the garbage disposal and it shoots the head out into space.
Yep.
I won't spoil I won't spoil the twist. But there is some lines early on where they talk about torturing the crew, because it's an interesting concept. You're like a mercenary that is for the insurance agency, so when stuff goes wrong, they release you from the pod, but the pod is hidden on the ship, so none of the people on the ship know where you are. So you are sort of stealthing your way through the ship, fighting these space pirates. Very interesting. I was more impressed with how funny it was. How, like, left field it was at times. Like, the fact that your first combat is literally picking up boxes of pepper and throwing them at guys' faces so they start sneezing so they can't see, and then you jump on their back and fucking rodeo them into goddamn the wall until they die, and then you pick up their head and jettison it into space. That's something I've never seen before.
Two questions.
There's plenty of ways to do it.
Does this work on Steam Deck?
I have no idea. I played it on my PC.
Oh, you only tried it on your PC? Okay.
It does work with a controller, though. So
there we go.
Yeah,
that's all I needed. All right, I'm installing it. I saw it on the list, but I didn't play it. I didn't mess with it.
I have a feeling this is a game that will be making its way to consoles, partially because it's Annapurna and most of their stuff makes it there, and the fact that it's already got a controller support.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I will say. A lot of the games that I played, some of them said they don't support controllers and supported controllers no matter what. So like Breakarts 3, didn't love it, but it had a full controller setup, and the tutorial showed me the controller, and yet it said controller not compatible. So I don't know. All right, got one more demo to talk about. It's my favorite demo of the bunch. I know that some of us played Dredge.
Mm-hmm.
Terrence, you did? I know.
Yeah.
Okay. So, take that same sort of vibe, that eldritch horror vibe, but you are running a lighthouse. Now, in some ways, the gameplay is very... I won't say it's not dissimilar to Five Nights, I guess, in some ways, except that it's more strategic and not just jump scare horror. So you're running a lighthouse, and you will get calls from ships, and you will have to basically... You have a map come out, and they're like, hey, I need to get to this port. So you use the map, and you draw the way they're going to sail to the certain port. And while you have that, sometimes people will show up at the door, and you'll be like, you've been told not to let anybody in. And then sometimes the lights go out. And hey, like, the lighthouse is off, you need to turn that back on. Also, you're fighting off sleep because you have to stay up the whole night. The radio signal's down. You gotta turn that tower back on. Did I just see someone run outside the window? Anyways, I gotta get back because there's another call. And I'm going to lead another ship in. First night, pretty basic, whatever. Second night, they're like, yeah, any commercial ship has to be sent to this dock. So you're not even looking at the instructions anymore, necessarily. You have to figure out, like, okay, this is a commercial ship, I have to send them to the Coast Guard. Even though they might be asking to go to a certain port. And you get docked money if you send people to the wrong port. And the money can be used to buy stuff when the guy comes every 2 days to deliver you supplies. You can buy stuff that'll help you stay up the night, like a coffee maker or whatever. But there's constantly people coming to the door. And they asked me to fill out a survey at the end of it. First of all, art style, fantastic. Again, one of those... the last demo I'm talking about also has the 3D world, 2D characters sort of thing, although it's more static because you're meeting people at the door. Very, very well done writing. The whole game is about building paranoia, which I guess in some ways Five Nights does, but there isn't a jump scare necessarily about it. But every time you come close to like falling asleep, eyes, like your vision actually starts to dip. And it makes reading the paper harder, so you can't see the whole page anymore. And it's just a really fascinating game because it does a great job of building atmosphere. Your lights are off, you turn them back on, because when you're in the dark, you start to fall asleep. So you need to turn them back on right away. But then, you're actually walking through the dark to turn them back on, and then someone's at your door, and also someone's calling on the radio because they need to get instructions on where to go, and then your pay is docked because you sent someone to the wrong place, and you accidentally sent the guy that had the Eldritch Horror board to the town, and now the town is talking about it. It's in the newspaper. I'm extremely impressed with how small of a space there is, and yet how well they use it, because They asked a question in the survey that I had to kind of explain myself. Like, how scary was it? And I'm like, it's not scary. Like, there's nothing chasing me, right? But at the same time, like, if you want to ask like what it is, it's got paranoia all over it. Like, you've told me early on, do not let anyone in, and now there's a kid at my door. Why is there a kid at my door, and what the fuck is he doing here? And I'm trying to get him to go away, and he's not saying anything until his mother randomly shows up. Yeah, fuck that kid. But like the first person you meet, it's like, hey, can I come inside? This lighthouse means a lot to my family. And you're like, no. And they're like, oh, you'll regret that. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean I'll regret that? And then I'm on the radio and I'm talking to someone, and then another voice comes on the radio intercepting me. I'm like, okay. They're like, hey, send the boat here and destroy it because it's gonna bring bad things to the town. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not listening to you. I'm doing my job. It's like, well, you'll regret that. I'm like, what do you mean I'll regret that?
What? Why is that the threat? Well, you'll regret that.
Yeah, and then when you fall asleep, this is called static dread, which dread is an accurate term, because it's not necessarily scary, but you dread when you start to fall asleep. You're like, I'm going to fall asleep and have another nightmare where I have to get to the radio in it. And now nothing's happened in those nightmares before. I do lose time. Like, I don't know what happens when I'm not there. There was a part where I was like, oh, okay, that was kind of scary. But again, it's the dread and the paranoia that I thought was a way better. And the writing is fantastic. Like, come the morning when your shift is over, the guy that talks to you, like, doesn't want to be personable, but then at the end he's like, "Oh, that's just another night wrapped." I'm like, "What the fuck? You talk to me like you're like an asshole all the time, and now you want to be fucking friends?" But the guy that does your deliveries, he sells stuff, and like, you know, having a higher pay allows you to buy more things, and it's a management sim essentially. But you don't have to make money. You just have to do your job well. And, you know, maybe paranormal, maybe just shitty electronics is causing the problems. Yeah, I think the goal is you survive 15 days. And I know Ken's gonna roll his eyes at this. The only thing that I said to them, like, they're like, "What would you add?" And I'm like, I don't know, like, if you're gonna have me trying to run, like, why would you not have me try to run this as many days as possible, right? Like, an endless mode? And you have people show up at your door that do other things than just sort of push certain stories forward. Like,
Well, wait,
you know, a
but
guy
this is
that
just a
won't leave
demo,
you.
ain't it?
Yeah, so I don't. That's what I said. When they're like, "What would you add?" I'm like, I don't know until I see the whole game.
Oh, I got okay. I thought you were okay. Okay, sorry, I
Yeah, no,
misunderstood.
I was very impressed with that because there were other games that I thought I would enjoy more, and probably did enjoy more to some extent. But this was the sort of, I don't know, it sounds kind of interesting. And I ended up being like, oh no, this is very compelling. I want to play more of this, but I don't want to hit the point where they're like, I'm glad you played my demo. Pick up the game whenever it comes out. Goodbye. I'm like, I hate that shit. Just, alright. I've played 2 days in game, or 3 days in game. I'm done. I'm just gonna put it here, and then when the game comes out, I will experience it fully. Because there's clearly a story, like, throughout that I would like to see the end of, and I do not want to stop halfway and then have to redo that shit. Because I will probably never finish it if I don't maintain some sort of desire. Two games that are not demos that I played. This feels very Dreamcast like. It's called Vivid Lope. And the whole goal is to just change all the squares on these like 3D geometric stages to a different color. And you get power-ups and stuff. Anyone that likes that sort of aesthetic, because it's got those very round... Fuck, hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna send the link to y'all, because I can't do a very good job of describing it. When you see it, you'll be like, oh no, you're right, that's fucking Dreamcast shit.
Oh, that type of thing.
As I spell it wrong, that's great. This game is already out, obviously, if I'm playing it in full, but it came out in 2023, so it's been a while since it came out, but I finally started playing it. And
Oh, yeah.
another 2D character to 3D space. Hey. They also kind of got a Vib Ribbon vibe, I guess. Fuck, that game is really goddamn cool. I really, it's very basic, but the little power-ups that you get and stuff, like the hammer that you can kill enemies with, also changes a 3x3 space into the color that you need it to be. Like, yeah, I'm very impressed with how fucking cool this game is. And there's different characters that have different abilities and stuff. Yeah, I think some of y'all would like that. And then the one that everybody else likes that I hadn't played until recently is Hi-Fi Rush. That's a very good fucking game.
Oh, what a game. I love that game so much.
It shows me that I have bad timing. Although I think I'm just gonna put on the click track almost, the visible click track, so I can tell when to time my attacks. I can do the timing on the quick attack, no problem, but as soon as I have to bring in the heavy attack, I'm like,
Yeah,
something's off.
the visualization thing is super helpful.
One thing that I don't think gets talked about enough is I love the streamer mode songs too. Because for anyone that doesn't know the game, there's licensed music in it, and the game is all based around the music they chose. So, how do you do a streamer version without having the licensed tracks? Because that would fundamentally change the game. So what they did was they wrote like legally distinct versions of the songs. So there is a legally distinct version of Nine Inch Nails 1 Million. And I am just there's a part of me that loves how campy that is. Fuck that game, like, I love the world building in it. Robbie Damon's the main character who was Prompto in Final Fantasy 15, so I'm already engaged with the main character. I didn't realize his weapon was a guitar, which is not really guitar, but a guitar. Like, it's all the magnetized metal that shapes like a guitar.
Yep.
Fuck yeah! Like, everything in that game is so goddamn cool, and I'm like, oh yeah.
The characters are great.
What the fuck is wrong with Microsoft? Oh my god. Here's a critical darling.
Wait till you see the robot character. I can't remember his name now. He's awesome. He's really great.
I do love the tutorial. The stupid fridge that gives you the tutorials after you tutorials.
Yeah.
And at one point, I was just like, I'm just gonna walk past him, and he jotted bolted in front of me. He's like, maybe he didn't see me. Maybe my sign wasn't big enough. And I'm like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that game's great, and some of the bosses are really, really good.
If you told me Insomniac made that, like the old school Insomniac, I don't know so much about current Insomniac because they're doing fucking Spider-Man and stuff, but
Spider-Man.
That feels very much like Ratchet and Clank ass stuff, you know? Like, oh, this world is really bizarre and built around capitalism and is very critical of a bunch of things. It feels also like what Sunset Overdrive kind of wanted to be, which was Insomniac. Like, I don't know, like, Sunset Overdrive really wanted you to think it was punk. It didn't really involve the music that much, other than it was just always sort of playing. And this is obviously built all around the music. So, I don't know, just a very fucking cool thing. I only finished up to the first boss, which, man, having a battle to one of my favorite Nine Inch Nails songs is a great way to win me over. So
that game is, I can't wait for the sequel.
Yeah, you know, thanks Microsoft. Oh, that's right. Fucking, just what a dumb move. What a dumb, like, not only is it dumb, like, playing that game and seeing how well the character, like, how much fun the characters are. Even the basic robots, like, it's got a very toyetic feel. I hate that word, but it's true. Like, you couldn't sell these as toys. Like, you couldn't make this a franchise.
Right. Yeah. I think they could. It's one of those games. I think I said it in the Discord that it reminds me of Psychonauts in the fact that the characters are so good that it could easily be like 30, 40 years ago. It would have been a Saturday morning cartoon. Like, it's just got such a great story and set of characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really enjoyed. I couldn't believe how long the level was too. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna play through levels, and then I get to a boss, and then I was like, okay, all right, like, maybe is this like huge interconnected thing? And then it's like, no, there's an end to this stage. You just are so far fucking away from it. Yeah. I was that's probably what I'll be playing after the show. So, and that's it. I'm done talking.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, it's It's fucking Next Fest, and like,
I wish
there was more. I wish there was more stuff like this. Because even when Microsoft does their thing, it's nowhere near as good. So.
Oh, well, I hope y'all look forward to that Hi-Fi Rush sequel that will eventually get that studio closed again. Because remember who bought them.
Was it NetEase?
No, it's fucking the PUBG people, right?
Yeah.
The ones that shut down. What was that? What was that Dead Space? The Callisto Protocol after one game?
Yeah.
Boom, dead.
You know what?
If we
get one more Hi-Fi Rush, that's one more than we got under Microsoft. So.
Well, no, it's the same amount you got under Microsoft.
No, I mean it's one more than we would have got if they had just been shut down and never come back.
Oh, I'll be curious to see because, like,
what was that sound effect?
What sound effect?
Okay, I guess I only heard. Never mind.
You got phantom sound effects over there?
I don't know. I thought I heard. It's fine. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, man, game development's really fucking depressing to me right now. Because a Hi-Fi Rush sequel is gonna take, what, at this point, 6 years to make, and
that's not to be excited about video games on a video game podcast. That's what I really came away with from Next Fest was like, wow, there's a lot of games to be excited for, which I don't know if it's the conversation that happens enough in video games.
Of course not. That's not profitable.
No. Yeah.
Sad.
Fuck them.
And I realize I am a very negative person, so please understand that when I say that, like,
what?
Walking away, go fuck yourself.
You?
I mean, we were just shitting on games before the show, but that's.
But at least
to be fair, Anthony, you're not the one who just took. Man, I'm really excited by Hi-Fi Rush and the potentials of the sequel, and turned it into. Doesn't matter. Studio's going to get shut down after the sequel anyway.
Listen. I be telling y'all this all the time in the fucking Discord. That's what he does. You come with excitement and sunshine and hope, and he like, doesn't fucking matter because everybody gonna be dead tomorrow. Whoops.
And then he says he's excited about something, and you're like, yeah, man, I don't know, I don't feel good about that. What, am I not allowed to be excited about things?
You're right. It's like, how are you gonna be the fucking victim? Are you serious? Yeah, man. He crazy, bro.
I want you to know. It's called white privilege.
Oh, I know. I know what the fuck is.
Oh shit! I don't know if you actually know that how many times I do it just to see you get worked up because it's hilarious to me.
I figured because I roll my ass so hard. I'm like, this motherfucker. I mean, I am exactly that scene in Key and Peele where they on the phone and he walking on. This motherfucker, that is me. Every single time you do it, I'm like, come in here excited, and this nigga.
Because he can't send me tweets via DM anymore. See, that's what he used to do on Twitter. Would be like, hey, look at this shit, and he knew it would piss me off. And I'd be like, all right, time to put on the fucking battle vest, and then fucking just like be like, all right, what swear word am I gonna call this guy?
Damn right. All right. Well, Terrence, you have 30 seconds. Go.
I mean, that's cool. I was gonna go real fast anyway. So I played some demos, but I don't go as deep as Anthony. But I did agree, like, I'm very surface level, so I just kind of get in. I want to see how it plays, like what it looks like. Okay, cool. I'm good, and then I get out of it. So I'm just gonna run through. Mecha Break is super dope. It's supposed to be coming to Xbox as well. It's delayed on Xbox, I'm thinking, because of the Series S.
I mean,
but it's
obvious.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know, that's the fault of everything.
Isn't this the one that the gifs floating around online of, like, when the character ejects from the ship that jiggles?
Yes. Okay. So it is a I don't know if it's from, is it NetEase? No,
dude, I have no
but it is
clue.
A Chinese studio. So the characters have jiggle. The female characters, they have jiggle physics.
I have to say the name of the studio / publisher. Amazing Sea-Sun Games.
Yep.
Not season. Not season.
Sea-Sun.
Sea-Sun.
I mean, it's better than Sea Biscuit.
That's true. But the game is dope, especially if you like mech stuff. It's kind of like a mix of Armored Core, Gundam Wing. It's very fast paced. What's that one that Hideo did? I can't remember what that one was called. Zone of the Enders. Yep, it's some Zone of the Enders in there. It's gonna be free to play. It's PvPvE, so there are modes where you can not have to fight against people, but I had some fun with it. I also messed with Among Us 3D. It's exactly what it sounds like, Among Us, but in 3D. I played the Gothic.
Hold on, I got a question for Among Us 3D.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it better? I know that's a weird question to ask.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Have limiting your view to like a first person angle, does it feel like more interesting not having like an overhead view where you can just see shit happen? Okay.
Yep. Yes. It adds some more tension to it, right? Because I mean, that overhead, you could see somebody behind you. Well, in this, you literally are in first person hiding behind a corner, but you can't see that somebody might be seeing you do that right behind you. You know what I'm saying? So it adds another layer. And really all it is the VR version. I don't know if any of y'all mess with that. But they're making that the standard. They want to make that the standard version of Among Us, so that it's in 3D. I guess they'll keep the like 2D version. At least that's what the little write-up said. But it was cool. Like the little mini games were different. I mean, that was all fun. Like, it was all the same stuff, but just in 3D.
I'll blow your mind. I never fucked with Among Us, period.
Really?
You're missing out.
Man, me and my kids and my family, like, yeah, we played that hardcore on the phone and stuff. We would all be in different rooms. Cause like it would, you could do voice chat on there too. Like Among Us is fun. It was a good time.
I don't like many multiplayer. I don't like many multiplayer games.
But it's very different. Like that's a game that the game is not the game. I guess is the way I'd say it. Like the game is the mind game aspect of it. Like
exactly
being able to talk to each other. So it's not just like. Like the last one that I kind of watched was when Terrence was playing the Death Note one, which was a more.
Oh yeah, that's like that. Yep.
I don't know. There's something very different about how those games are played that I think is compelling. That's the simplest of those, I guess, at this point.
It is, and they're adding. Like, because how that Death Note one has like the different classes that you have in different roles. I guess they're adding that stuff into Among Us. But that's what I like too. It's the kind of mental games that you have to play. Like, you're the killer, and Blue saw you kill somebody. So how are you going to lie your way out of this situation? Like, and when you pull it off to blame somebody else, and then everybody ejects them. Oh my God, man! Like it's fantastic. Like that. I don't know. That game is a good time.
It just sounds like gaslighting the game.
Yep.
I guess maybe to agree. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That is exactly what it is. But I don't know.
Who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes?
Exactly. Oh, and it's so crazy how you could get some people to think. And that's the other thing. Like, when you're playing with randoms, like you just have such a collection of people. Like, and then you have to do different approaches to kind of sway them, and I don't know. I enjoy that aspect, but okay, I'm going too deep in that one. I played the Gothic 1 remake demo. I say play, that's a very loose term. I don't know if it's my system, which I think I don't have top of the line, but I should be able to run it. But it needs some optimization. But I think maybe they're going for the original. Kind of Euro jank. They're trying to make sure.
Remake the jank. It's a rejank.
Yeah. They try to make sure that it has some jank. I don't think it's going to run on Steam Deck. Did you try it on Steam Deck?
I was just getting ready to ask you that question.
Yeah, it didn't even open for me on Steam Deck, and then on my PC it ran, but it was choppy. So I just uninstalled. So yeah, I'll mess with it. When it comes out, hopefully they drop another demo or something. But yeah, it could just be it's just not optimized. Or
is it coming to console too, or just PC?
I'm pretty sure it's.
I thought it was coming to console.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I saw that. What was the other one I wanted to talk about? I can't even find
console
it now.
peasants
the Turtle.
Don't want to miss out on the jank.
Nope. I played the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown. It is a tactical game, obviously. It's in the name. I know,
Crazy.
Right? It's in the name. But what kind of makes it feel less like, I guess, is that when you do your attacks and different moves, you have to like, cause like X is like your kind of confirm thing. You have to press it multiple times. So it's kind of like you're playing like a beat 'em up because you're hitting them with combos, even though it's a tactics game. So I use the controller. I don't know how well that works out with a mouse, but it was pretty, I enjoyed what I played. I played Monaco 2 briefly. I forgot that it was even coming out. I don't know if y'all played the first one on Xbox, but Monaco was a good time.
Maybe it's because I was playing it single player. I did not get Monaco.
Oh, like how to play? Wait, the demo or the original one?
The original. I just was like, maybe I'm missing the appeal because I'm not playing with other people. I just was like, yeah, this isn't for me.
And that's so because I had friends that I played with at the time of it coming out. I don't know if that would be fun, like a single player thing. Because yeah, I mean, this one just kind of felt like more of the same. I mean, they added some abilities and stuff, and obviously it looks better.
You have the original Monaco on Steam?
Do I have it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Hang on.
We'll talk after. Don't worry about it.
Okay, that's fine. I also played the Phantom demo, which is just a beat 'em up. So, side scroller, beat 'em up.
Oh, off the comic. Okay, cool.
Yes, the comic, the Phantom. Yeah. So when I was a kid, we got into the cartoon. I think it was the Phantom 2040. I think is what it was.
There's a Super
and then like
Nintendo
the movie
game.
came out. There is. I didn't have a Super Nintendo. I played it. But then the Billy Zane movie came out. The Phantom. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. What happened to Billy Zane? Where is he? And that movie was awesome. Like I haven't seen it in forever. He's what?
He's playing Marlon Brando in a biopic, and he looks fucking amazing.
He does look
really?
just like him. Yeah, it's crazy. I saw the pictures of that.
Uncomfortable. I've heard his impression is also amazing. So I'm extremely excited. Dude also seems like just a legit nice guy, which is funny.
He does.
He played the biggest asshole in Titanic.
He did. Yes.
But no, the Phantom. Jesus.
Yep. I need to rewatch that because I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and I remember we wore that VHS out. It had the little holographic cover on the front of it. But I need to see if it holds up. But I do remember I enjoyed that movie. I think that's it of the demos that I played that were really anything cool. Outside of playing a lot of Monster Hunter, which I'm sure Jay already talked about last week.
Oh, a lot.
I'm sure that game is. It's good. I mean, it's Monster Hunter. Looking forward to when everybody gets together and we can kind of go, as a group. I think that's probably where the most fun for that comes too, is playing with your friends. Because like when I play, like I usually drop into other people's missions. Like I just go to the drop board and find something that like is a creature I need to hunt, but I do it with other people because I don't like the mixing of the different skills and the weapon types and stuff. Like that's where it's at. So I kind of like the approach that they did with this, where you drop into servers with hundreds of people and it's kind of open world and stuff. Is pretty dope. So I'm playing for review this game called Police Shootout, which oh man, okay, so it's like a police simulator game, but it is janky as fuck. But I like I love the approach. So those normal simulator type games or the cop games, when, you pull in a gun, it basically turns to a first person shooter and you just like, popping headshots and shit. That's not what cops do. They don't just go for a headshot. So in this, when you have to draw your gun, it turns into a turn-based, like a turn-based kind of tactical game, but it's still in first person. So you move behind cover, like there's points where you can move and there's like cover points and then points in the open. And then when you shoot, you like initially aim your gun and then you have a secondary meter that's moving like back and forth real fast. And you have to, stop it, somewhere to actually get, that's where the bullet is going to go. So it's a little more, I can't even think of the word. It's a little more involved than just, aiming the sights and pulling or, putting the dot on them and pulling the trigger, which is kind of nice. And you are encouraged and supposed to like go for wounding shots, right? So disarming, shoot them in the leg, in the arm, like you're not supposed to be, flat out murdering people. And then it's kind of funny that when you get to like the interrogation portion, it turns into a card game. So you have cards that you have to play, like bluffs and different stuff. It might be, well, we saw you do this, or well, we had a witness that said this and that's a lie or whatever. Then you have to kind of beat them out to get them to confess to whatever. So the actual like graphics and stuff and shit is super janky, but I do like the mechanics I think that they put in here. I think that's a little more close to actually being a cop than just making a straight up first person shooter. Because you actually have to put, kind of some thought into everything, rather than just lining up, the dot. Let's see. Outside of that, I played some more Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I picked up Dynasty Warriors Origins. That game is absolutely fire. Warriors Abyss. I finished my first run. I'm going to get that review written tomorrow.
Did you ever review Final Fantasy?
Nope, still playing it. I told you, was like, well, we'll get your review at the end of the year because I said I wanted to finish it. Like and it's like on pause too. Like I can go ahead and write it up if you want.
No, I was just remembered it the other day. I was like, I forgot we got that.
Yep. No, yeah, it's still, yeah.
I mean, it's still a 10 out of 10. It's a great game.
And it is a fucking fantastic game. But Warriors Abyss, I mean, I talked about it before, but yeah, I'm gonna get the review written for that. But I did finish like the whole loop because, as I said, it's very much like Hades. It is a Warriors game, and I think it was a good fit. I think it was a good mix to make it a lot of the roguelite type game. It has a nice loop where you unlock characters, and like I said, it has everybody from those Warriors games. So it's not just Dynasty Warriors; it has the Samurai Warriors and the what's the other one? Wasn't there a third? Maybe it is just Samurai and Dynasty. It might just be those two, but it has a huge roster. But yeah, it's definitely pretty dope. And then that game that I can't talk about, that was the other thing I played a lot of, but we'll talk about that next week. And yeah, that's it.
All right, Wombat, show us what you got.
Before Wombat starts, I have a recommendation for Wombat to try because I didn't get to it, and this was one of the ones I wanted to get for a demo. Solasta 2.
Oh, yeah.
Solasta. Solasta. It's
like Baldur's Gate.
Basically Baldur's Gate, but without the D&D license.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There's obviously a Solasta 1. So I'm assuming this is a direct sequel to that. But I've actually been told about Solasta before, and then I was like, well, I'll try the demo for the second game. So
interesting. All right. Well, I just added it to my wish list.
Yeah, exactly. So while I remember.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be quick, Ken. I don't really have anything to talk about.
That's why I don't either.
I gotta finish up my review for PGA. I'll get that done in the next day or two. I already talked a lot about that last week. And then I do own Monster Hunter, but I haven't really played it because I've been trying to finish up Avowed before I start that game.
I will tell you that it literally, I don't know if you've made it there yet, but it literally tells you, and it's called in the save file, point of no return.
Oh, okay.
And after you hit
that,
you've got probably about another hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay. All right. I am doing all the side stuff because I'm physically incapable of not doing that. So I've probably I'm most of the way through the third area at this point. It's funny, I've done all the side stuff in the third area, and now I actually have to do the main mission.
Is that the desert?
Yeah.
Is that the desert one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to finish that up before I get myself started on Monster Hunter, because Monster Hunter is gonna take up all the rest of my energy, and I don't like to play more than one game at once if I can avoid it. So and I picked up, because it was on a big sale, I picked up Scald, but I haven't actually had a chance to play it yet. So hopefully I'll talk about that next week. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't have anything else.
Well, yeah, I've, like with Terrace, I've been mostly just focused on finishing up Split Fiction. I think we're close. I'm excited to talk about that game next week. Besides that, I found a game on sale that I'd never heard of. It was called Divine Dynamo Flame Ifrit. And I was like, what the hell is this? Like, it looks like some Voltron anime shit, but it's a Zelda clone, like old school Zelda clone. And
I say that? Okay, so hold on. My smartass just said that, and I go on Steam, and I have it wishlisted.
Yeah. It was on sale this week for like $3 on Xbox. I was like, alright, I don't know how I missed this game, but I'll check it out.
Oh, I remember why I saved this now. So not only does it look like Zelda, there's a specific key element that happens that reminds me a lot of Mystical Ninja that I was like, oh, that's a yes.
Yeah, I've only played it for like 20 minutes, but I'm like, okay, I'm into this.
There's first-person mech battles.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
It's cool. I played the
Oh, it's Inti Creates too.
Yeah, it's Indie Crates, because of course it is. What else do they not make? I played the Glover remaster.
Gotta love the glove,
dude. That game is fucked up. I like playing it back then. I was like, what's that?
I'm assuming it's the N64 version, because all those games were slightly different.
I don't know. I don't have enough.
N64 version were so let's put it this way: was there the animated intro in the beginning? Was there any like text dialogue?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
So he doesn't accidentally like the glove doesn't accidentally fall into the pot. It like purposely jumps in.
Oh shit! You're asking about the lore of Glover.
I know that sounds weird, but like the PS1 version, the Cross Stitch, the evil glove, purposely changes himself to get magic powers. And in the N64 version, it's a mistake that happens that turns him to Cross Stitch.
All right.
And I know that's a really weird thing, but like that's a really weird thing to just do in general. Like, why would they change it so drastically? Is beyond me.
It's a weird game with weird controls.
Yeah, you're one of the wizard's gloves that's trying to save the world. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the wizards of the tutorials. Like, here's what happens if you lose your ball and all that stuff. So. Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird game.
I do love the music for the Atlantis stages. That is some top tier fucking composing. The rest of that game is alright. They fit the theme, but
they fit like a glove.
Yeah.
Alright. I play a little bit of a Metroidvania called Biomorph. It's got a really nice cartoony style to it. It feels good to play. The hook to this one is that you can get the ability to morph into the creatures that you're fighting. So after you kill them,
Biomorph absolutely sounds like it would have been a game I rented at Marsh for the Super Nintendo in 1994.
100%. And it probably would be like this, because it is literally just a 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania where you can morph into your enemies and break through walls. It's
that studio also made a game called Legends of Ethernal.
I remember that game. I don't know that I ever played it though.
I thought you might, but I apparently have it. Don't know how I have it.
Legends of Ethernal sounds like a GameCube era action game
with Skittles.
You know what's funny is that's the exact model of game that I was thinking in my head.
Darkened Sky.
Yeah, Darkened Sky.
I own that game. I own that game strictly because what the fuck?
Skittles, man. You collecting Skittles.
It's not a good game.
It's not even, and Skittles not even on the fucking cover. It's not
No.
like they were trying to sell it.
I mean, I don't know. It's fucking Skittles. Been playing a lot of fighting games because I bought that 8-bit dough arcade stick. Having a good time. Played some MK10 or X as the kids call it. Some Marvel vs. Capcom fighting collection. A good time with that. Played some Street Fighter. Realized I don't really care much for Street Fighter 6. I don't know. It's just, hey. Oh man.
Yeah. It's a good game with good mechanics, but it's just I wasn't super into it either, so I get it.
It's been so long since there's been a Street Fighter game that I got into. I mean, it's got to be 4, like at this point.
Yeah.
And it just makes me sad because 5 and 6 have been very disappointing for me. I checked out the Turok update for the next gen. That just came out of nowhere. Basically, it's just the same game, but now like runs at 120 frames a second. I mean, it's Turok. Like every time I go back and play it, like I'll load up my save and I'm like, this game is so confusing as to where to go. Like, where do you go?
Yeah.
And I play a lot of Overwatch because that the perk stuff's pretty fun. Not gonna lie, having a lot of fun playing it. I think that's it.
I figured that would reinvigorate stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting because like they really need to overhaul it a little bit because some of them are kind of useless.
Yeah.
I do like that some of them are very game specific. So like if you need to do more of something, they're there.
Can you switch them on the fly?
No, that's the problem. Is
Okay.
like I was gonna say like if you lock into something, you're kind of locked into it unless you switch characters, and I'm just kind of like, well,
Got you.
like it'd be nice if I could spend some points or something to like swap one of them, but you can't do that yet. So, but anyway, it's nice to have that game, and it's nice to get free $20 skins. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of awesome.
Wish Marvel Rivals would give me a free $20 skin.
Dude, I've got like 5 $20 skins so far since they introduced loot boxes.
Oh, that's dope. I got like 5 too, but I paid $20 for each of mine. So.
No, that's the one thing I can say about this game is that like I don't spend money on the skins. Like it's just not for me. And then like they did these loot boxes, and now I'm starting to get them in the loot boxes, and you're guaranteed, a legendary item every 20 boxes. So.
Oh, nice.
So
that's cool. Good for them.
Yep. And they put new boxes in the rotation. So, like, it actually makes me want to play because, like, every week they set up a new set of challenges, which I was ignoring because they didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But give you Battle Pass XP. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm going to fill that bitch out anyway. But now every week they're like, play 7 games, get a loot box kind of thing. So, I've just been building loot boxes, getting all kinds of free shit. I was like, this is what this game needed. 100%. Like, give me a reason to want to keep playing besides trying to grind my levels. So, I did boot up the new Astrobot level. I played it at a time where my brain was like, nah, we're not going to do this because these are very hard levels. These are like post-game levels that they're putting up for the stuff. Basically, you have to do the whole run without dying kind of levels. So this is the 3rd of 5. I beat the first 2. I guess the bot in this one is Jade from Beyond Good and Evil, which is kind of cool.
Oh, nice.
So, I love that game. The game was so good. All right, let's talk about what's out this week. We got a decent amount of things. The new Age of Mythology Retold Immortal Pillars, which I guess is an expansion.
Yep.
It's also this week is when it comes to PS5, so PlayStation 5 gamers can now play Age of Mythology Retold. Carmen Sandiego is out this week, which we'll talk about next week because somebody's actually playing it. Spoiler, it's Anthony. Power Wash Simulator, Wallace and Gromit Special Pack.
Oh, by the way, on the subject of Carmen Sandiego.
Gotcha, bitch.
Okay. 2-Point Museum for the cheap asses. So, the regular edition is out this week. War Robots Frontiers, Crusader Kings 3 Wards and Wardens Pack, Care Bears to the Rescue, Eldrador Creature Shadowfall, Frag Punk, which I've seen a lot of people talking about. I guess that's another, 3v3 shooter or something?
Yeah, it's a hero shooter with card mechanics.
Oh, good!
Yeah.
So what's the over-under on that one? 6 months, 18 months? What we got?
I don't know because I don't know. No, you know what? It is free to play. I think they're just also charging for a $9.99 version, but it is free to play. People seem to be excited about it.
People seem to be excited about X Defiant.
Well, that's true.
It's dead.
That's true.
Memory Lost, Morcall, Ragast's Rage, I don't know what the fuck is, Slime Heroes. Sorry We're Closed, which, man, I feel like I've been email blasted about that game. They must really want people to play it, like, to cover it. The art style just didn't do anything for me, but it is a survival horror game, so...
I think they emailed me about that one, too.
Yeah, like, I've gotten several emails like, hey, do you need a code? Do you need a code? I was like, man, normally I'd be like, cool, but, like, I ain't got no time.
Yeah, So,
because, out this week, Split Fiction, which we talked about, that's out this week, as is, maybe you forgot, Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster is out this week.
Dang, I did forget that was coming. All
yeah,
right.
I mean, I have a copy of it, but I got it super late, so there's no fucking way in hell I will be having those games are fucking long. I'm not going to beat them, but still, like, I'd like to put a little bit of time in each one before I... another Airy game. This one's called Dreamland. Wonder if Kirby's there. Alter Age. And dude, what the fuck? WWE is out on Friday.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, wait, we don't have it yet?
No.
Nice. Okay.
Cool.
Well,
yeah, the Bloodline edition and the Dead Man edition are out on Friday.
Are they doing an early thing?
Like it's definitely early bullshit.
Okay.
So, yep, that's out on Friday. Oh, what else we got? Oh, nothing there. Check PS4, and most of the time there's just nothing in these old systems anymore. What's going on with the Switch this week? Oh, Lord. It's all kinds of Switch games. Let's see if there's anything worth laughing at. There's a game called Ball It Hell.
What?
Ball It Hell. Get it?
Yeah,
Ball
Ball It Hell instead of Bullet Hell?
Yeah, Ball It. There's Dark Passion anime match puzzles. I'm sure that's a fantastic game. Flight Simulator.
Okay,
Pro.
I kind of hold on. I gotta. Okay,
no, you don't.
I looked up Ball It Hell.
Oh, okay.
So you are like a baseball bat who is like avoiding, and then you can strike strategically to hit them back. It looks kind of neat.
Okay. Here's a weird one. So Funko Fusion is coming to the old consoles and the Switch this week.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's Did they ever do that DLC, by the way, or co-op or whatever it was?
Nope, the online stuff. Well, you know what? I'm lying. Yes, they did it for a couple of the maps because that's the thing. Like, it wasn't launching all at the same time, so it's only for certain levels, and they haven't done it for the whole game yet.
Well, I mean, of that team's been fired, right?
Oh, you know what? I think so, actually, because that's what happens now.
Yeah, I think part of that team got laid off. So I'll be curious if they actually do anything with that game. Apparently those old versions are out, but other than that, I do wonder what's going to happen. All right, let's do the news. Obsidian apparently has bigger plans for Avowed now that we've built this wonderful world. and it also built this team, strength and muscle memory around the content of gameplay in this world. I'd love to see us do more with it. I don't know what that means, but whatever. They already said they weren't doing DLC, so like.
Yeah.
March 4th could be a very exciting day. It's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, baby. Like, do we think it's shadow drops or do we think it's just an announcement?
I think it's probably just an announcement.
Man, I'd love a shadow drop. If I could play Tony Hawk 3 and 4 this week, god damn.
But I guess my question is, Game Pass?
Oh, of course it's Game Pass. It's first party.
Don't they own that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's first party.
Right. That's what's up.
Xbox February update, invite links for cloud gaming sessions and more stream your own games, which was like a list of like, what, 7 or 8? I'm like, okay. Like, oh boy. I'm so glad I could stream 7 or 8 more games I might own. That's cool. Xbox will talk about Play Anywhere at GDC 2025. We talked about Fable last week, right? Being delayed, or was that this week? I don't remember.
I think that announcement might have been this week.
Yeah, it's 2026.
Nice.
You know what it's for, right? So they can release the PS5 version at the same time. I don't care.
Funny and probably true. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I just want to play that game.
Good for y'all.
Play that fucking game.
Right.
PlayStation Plus Essentials for March, Sonic Colors Ultimate, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection, and Dragon Age, the Veil Guard?
Oh, quick.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean...
But that makes sense, too, because Sony or whoever, I'm assuming, has to pay for those licenses, so they're just trying to get as much money from that game as they can, because they know it's a wrap. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense to see it on there already.
Man, it's crazy that, like, was it 4 months?
It's sad. Yeah. Man.
I'm glad that more people will get to play it, and hopefully they can find their way to the gold within some of the problems that game has. I still really enjoyed it, so.
There ain't a bad game in that list, though.
No, it's a good collection of PS
Dragon Age.
Plus.
Sorry, what was the other one?
Sonic Colors.
Yep.
Ninja Turtles, Cowabunga.
Ninja Turtles, which is like, if you can only download one, get the fucking Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection.
Hell yeah, dog. I'll probably boot up Dragon Age on the PS5 because apparently it's Pro enhanced, so I'll be curious to see what's better about it. Because I'm trying to play as much shit on the Pro as I can so I can write up something. Like I got Monster Hunter, they sent me a code for Monster Hunter with the Pro, so I'm gonna check that out on the Pro and see. Because apparently that's the best version or something. Because even the PC version is fucked up or something. I don't know. PlayStation VR 2 is getting a price cut down to $399. That includes the Horizon Call of the Mountain bundle. So if you've been waiting, it's now $400. I'm still not going to buy it for that. Sorry. Super Soccer will have the distinction of being the first NSO game being removed from the service. So on March 28th, Super Soccer will no longer be playable on Nintendo Switch Online.
Wonder what the story with that is.
I don't know. What kind of license would be in it? Maybe like a team license or something?
I'm looking right now.
I didn't think they put any like licensed teams in that game.
I don't know. It's weird that that's the game that's being removed. Like it doesn't make any sense. Pokemon Legends Z through A launches in late 2025. The starter Pokemon are Totodile, Tepig, and Chikorita.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird selection because like the last Legends game had 3 different game generations. I'm missing the word I want to use, but represented. That's it. And in this, it's 2 because Chikorita and Totodile are from Gold, Silver, Crystal. So that's a little weird, but whatever. I'm excited. I think Arceus is my favorite Pokemon game, and this one looks like a modern Pokemon game that's going to play like that. So
I really hope that
that's what I wanted.
It's weird that they couldn't say that it was coming to the Switch too, because holy shit, those screenshots are ugly as fuck. Like, that game does not look good.
If it runs as good as Arceus, we'll be fine, because that was one of the better running Pokemon games.
Sure, but I mean, you would definitely want like a Switch 2 upgraded version, definitely.
Well, I mean, I'd like a lot of things. I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem with Nintendo's. Everybody like, I'll take what I can get.
No,
like, come on,
that's
Nintendo, give me some give me some shit. You know,
I'm a man who refuses to upgrade.
Dude, you're gonna sit there and tell me that you're not buying a Switch 2 this year?
They have to have a first party title that I really want.
Oh, they absolutely are gonna have a first party.
That's what I said.
They're gonna have one.
Odyssey. If it's Odyssey 2, yeah, day one. If it's not Odyssey 2, then it's like, okay, well, I'll think about it.
I can tell you this right now. I've got to play Metroid Prime 4 on a Switch 2 because I'm afraid of that game on a.
Yeah, I still don't know when the hell that's happening. So we'll again, just I will.
Is that Pokemon game this year?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
2025. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well then, yeah, I guess I will get a Switch 2 because I will play that on Switch 2. So okay, yeah, I guess I'm gonna get one then.
Yeah,
depends on how they're doing it too. Like, is it
going
to be like, hey, you buy the Switch version and it plays better in Switch 2, or do you have to buy the Switch 2 version?
Dude, it's Nintendo, so I don't know.
Yeah.
PlayStation's charging what, $10 for upgrades? Like, Xbox is the only one doing it for free, so I assume Nintendo's going to charge for it. I don't know. It sucks, but I don't know. The cross-gen stuff was awesome for consumers, but it really made a mess of video games. So, there's a Suikoden special broadcast set for actually today at 3 o'clock. Pacific time. I have no idea what they're going to talk about, but there it is.
Suikoden.
Well, no shit, but like, what are we making a new one?
Well, you said you have no idea. I'm giving you an idea that they're probably going to talk about Suikoden.
More than likely.
No, they're not going to talk about it at all. James Gunn is apparently in talks with NetherRealm and Rocksteady on new games in the DC universe. I heard that Rocksteady was moved on to a Batman game, so I don't know.
Yeah, I heard that too, which is in the DC universe. So.
Well, oh, really? I didn't know that.
Hey, listen, I'm just trying to keep you on the straight and narrow.
I get confused in my old age. Sometimes you just got to say something, and I'll just be like, "Hey." Eternal Strands is getting 2 DLCs that are very weird. They're collaborations with other studios. The first is with Creative Studios 3, and the second is with Grasshopper Manufacture.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is a weird...
I can't imagine what they would do. Yeah, that is weird.
Although Grasshopper is about to get, like, lambasted, right? Like, didn't NetEase say that the dude from Sega, the guy that made Yakuza, like, his studio gets to finish their game and then they're gone, and same with Suda's studio? Like, I think we talked about that last week.
Don't know.
Man, NetEase is just like, fuck y'all, I need more money.
Wasn't NetEase the Marvel Rivals
people?
Yep.
Yeah.
That dude is going full capitalism.
Hooray for consolidation. I'm so glad that everybody's getting bought by all these fucking conglomerates. It's really great. It really makes me excited.
I could feel the excitement in your voice.
Very positive about the state of the industry. It makes me feel like Ken, honestly.
Come on. What are we doing? Anyway, BioWare co-founder Greg said that the worst advice they got from Microsoft was convincing them to launch Jade Empire on the original Xbox. He said they should have delayed it and made it a 360 launch title.
Yeah.
I could see where that would have been beneficial, but the game was still so good, so...
Yeah, it's not like it hurt itself being on the original Xbox. The game was still fantastic.
Well, I think he was saying that we may have seen another one if it had launched on the 360 because people were already moving on. So I think he was trying to say like it could have done better if they had waited and dropped it on the 360 instead of the, But yeah, that game is.
I mean, maybe, but if you remember, BioWare went on to Mass Effect.
So. Yeah, they had a chance to make another Jade Empire if they wanted to, and they never did.
Yeah, Mass Effect got too big.
I do wish they had gone back to that series because
same.
I really enjoyed that game a lot.
I think BioWare didn't make a bad game on the original Xbox. Like, they were all bangers.
Well, there was a time period where they didn't make a bad game, period, but
then Anthem happened.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not the same BioWare anymore. So,
no,
as we've discussed at length recently.
Unfortunately, I think BioWare might be finished. Like they might get to finish Mass Effect, but I think that might be the last game under the BioWare banner. To be honest with you,
I can see
it's a real shame.
Yep,
it is.
Warner Brothers is shutting down Player First Games, WB San Diego, and Monolith. The Wonder Woman game is canceled.
And Monolith, man, are you kidding me?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
According to Jason Schreier, he says Monolith was not interested in making another Lord of the Rings game. An original IP that they were making got canceled in 2021. WB Montreal is currently pitching a Game of Thrones game. Traveler's Tales will have a new Lego game next year, and Rocksteady is already working on a new Batman game. So that's the state of WB is.
Thanks, Zaslav.
Well, this is. I mean, Zaslav's got a hand in it for sure, but this is more that guy that directs the actual game side. I can't remember his name.
Which I heard.
He's the guy that went all in on live service and all that shit, even after Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they're paying for that. Like, I've heard the new game guy people seem to like, but he couldn't stop these like shutdowns from happening, I guess. It was already written off.
I'll be very curious to see what this new Batman game from Rocksteady is. Did they say it was in the Arkham universe or just that it was a Batman game?
Just said a Batman game, and
okay, that's what I thought.
Let's be honest about this. That game's not coming out this generation.
Oh no, not a chance.
Like, so there's just nothing to talk about right now, unfortunately. What else we got here?
I said it in the Discord, but I'll say it here. I am surprised that WB hasn't just completely got out of the games business. I keep waiting for them to sell off like NetherRealm or let NetherRealm go independent again and Rocksteady and just license their shit out. Rather than continuing to try to own a piece of the action. The window continues to narrow. So
yep.
We'll see what happens, but it wouldn't surprise me if they're not out of the game business before too long.
Yeah, we'll see what happens because they're gonna double down on Batman, Mortal Kombat, and Harry Potter, I think, and Game of Thrones. Is there ever been like a big selling Game of Thrones game? Like, truly?
No. Well, I mean, the only one there's been was that who's the Telltale?
No, they made an action. Yeah. They made a 3D action game.
They had a 3D action game.
Yep.
Yeah.
When?
Well,
on what?
PS3, Xbox 360.
Yeah, 360 PS3.
The thing about Game of Thrones is like it's not a. Even though it's got the dragons and swords and all that.
Dragons.
The thrust of the books and the show isn't really necessarily the combat. I mean, the show, I guess, turned into that, but it's more political machinations.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not surprised it hasn't necessarily translated as well to games.
Right, there was 3 Game of Thrones games. So there was the one that we already talked about, the Telltale. But then there was the action role-playing game from 2012 by Cyanide.
Mm-hmm.
There's
a mobile game too, right?
I didn't know we were counting those.
I'm not counting that shit.
But I mean, it's coming to consoles, right? I thought.
I don't fucking know
that's the
that.
new one. There are like 2 mobile games.
Oh yeah, I was just referring to the new one that's coming to.
Yeah,
consoles.
The new one is coming to consoles. That's a demo on Steam Fest too, if you want to try it.
I'm like, okay, Cyanide. I'm like, those are the
not bad.
stick
Third-person
right?
action.
And it is. So then I'm scrolling down, and then Amusement Cyanide made a Game of Thrones Genesis from 2011. So I click on that.
I mean, it's got some blast processing for sure.
Strategy game for the PC.
See, that makes more sense for Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I mean it does. Yeah. Well, I believe the action role playing game there was like a bunch of weird stuff where you had to like make choices for your kingdom.
Yeah, they were trying to Mass Effect like Dragon Age kind of style it, but it didn't work out.
Got a 52 on Metacritic.
I think the funniest thing about that, and the only reason that I know that game exists, other than I think I worked in retail when it came out, was the Game Grumps played through it with the guy who played what's his name, the Grey Worm guy, the guy, the
actual actor.
Yeah, the actual actor. He played it with him. So, and he was playing. He was like, "This sucks." Tekken 8 announced its new season pass of characters, starting off with Anna Williams on April 3rd.
I'm waiting for a big sale on Tekken 8, and then I'm gonna pick that up.
Yeah, I wonder how much that second season pass is gonna cost, because I want some more characters, but fighting game character passes have gotten so fucking expensive, it drives me crazy. Gex Trilogy got a release date finally. It's out this summer. Thanks for the date. This summer. Real fucking narrows it down. What else did I see here? According to Tom Warren, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is targeting April for its release on PlayStation 5, which is crazy because Forza Horizon 5's release date is April 25th. And apparently it's already the best-selling game on PlayStation right now. It's fucking hilarious. They announced Mercury Steam's new game. I think this was already announced, but they showed a trailer for it. It's called Blades of Fire. It's out on May 22nd.
Yeah, it looked cool.
Terminator 2D No Fate is out September 5th. That game looks rad as fuck.
That's the 2D one?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think that's all the news I got. Let me just scroll up and see. Apparently Bandai Namco trademarked Once Upon a Katamari. New Katamari game coming. Details have come out about the Twisted Metal online service game. It was going to be a battle royale game with a third-person shooting. What the fuck are we doing?
Why? Twisted Metal is like the simplest fucking thing.
Yeah.
Put guns on cars.
Yeah.
That's it.
Car, gun, go, boom.
That's exactly what Twisted Metal. That's what anybody who has a reverence for Twisted Metal. That's what they want.
Right. Why are we doing this?
I love Twisted Metal. Put a car with a fucking rocket launcher on the roof and call it a day.
Yeah, it's easy. It's so easy. Put like a dude who's got his arms are axles and call him Axel, and that's it. We're done.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Did you see the trailer for the second season?
I haven't watched it yet, but I love that.
Yet.
That first season was so good.
It was.
Yeah. They tease Axel, like they show a hand going into the thing.
Dude, the ending of the first season with the tease of Calypso was like, oh man,
so good. Oh, that show was so good. I'm excited for the second season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new one.
All right. Let's do some emails. Dan wrote in about Game of the Year. We're still talking about Game of the Year, so that's cool. Greetings, fellow gamers. The existence of the Steam Press account has surfaced every so often in recent times. I'm wondering if you ever tried to get your hands on one back when they were a thing you could get. We had one.
Yeah.
And none of us really played on Steam back then, so.
We also, at one point, through someone else, who I will not name for fear of reprisal, had access to some sort of PlayStation version of that too at some point, I seem to remember.
I don't remember that.
Like an account on PlayStation that had some games on it. I don't know. We talked about it after the show.
I don't remember that. You'll have to refresh my memory on that one. But we did have a Steam account. It took me forever to get. What's funny is it took me forever to get one, and then as soon as we got it, they changed it. So we literally had it for like 6 months. So, also a little late on this, but good to see Papa Bear come out of hibernation to list off the 3 games he played last year. Assume he's referring to Drew.
He's talking about Drew, yeah.
Speaking of my top games, most not released this year because I rarely play games in the year of release. Hey, it's another Ryan.
Hey, look at that.
Number 8's Dungeons of Hinterberg, a relaxing adventure with a heap of bite-sized dungeons to work through.
I keep hearing about how good that game is. At some point, maybe
I liked the little bit I played. It was on Game Pass too.
Yeah, when it launched, it was on Game Pass. Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun, an old school doomer shooter that made me feel like an ultramarine. Nuclear Blaze, made by the Dead Cells creator. Action was super fun. The art style was as good as you'd expect. Terminator Resistance, I love the setting, up there with Alien Isolation for capturing the mood of a franchise. Hi-Fi Rush, wonderfully stylized, cute sense of humor. Elden Ring, the only Souls like that I've enjoyed playing. The world is phenomenal and living proof that fidelity is not king. Instruments of Destruction, an absolute blast. So much fun destroying buildings with a remote-controlled wrecking ball. And number 1, Balatro, number go up.
Oh man, I love Balatro.
The next
Finally unlocked orange difficulty on Balatro. Now I'm struggling through that.
Say this. The OST, which is like one song that like goes through different sort of instruments, is brilliant and was paid. Yeah, was paid for. Like the dev went to Fiverr to find a guy who would be willing to write that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and like I hope that the guy has made a bunch of money off of that theme at this point.
Oh, I'm sure he has.
Intrinsically tied to that game. So.
Yeah, I can't imagine playing that game with any other like. Yeah, it's just so like it fits like with all the like swirling background and all that stuff too. So yeah, it's perfect.
Down. Yeah.
Next email comes from Henrik. It says, "Hey guys, I was just listening to the last episode where Ken went through the new update for Overwatch, and I was immediately thinking, oh, they did that too, huh? I haven't played Overwatch since the first, but I've been playing Apex Legends for 4 years, and don't you know it, they did this, level talents and loot box transparency, etc., 3-ish seasons ago. I remember it being controversial with the Apex crowd at the time, but nobody can even fathom how we played before these improvements. I'm glad Overwatch also got a breath of fresh air, even though I don't play it. It's always nice to hear other live service games adapting. Have a good week. With regards from your probably only Norwegian listener, Henrik."
May be true at this point.
It might be. But yeah, it is nice to see these games get a breath of fresh air. But let's be fair, Overwatch had been coasting until Marvel Rivals came out, so I felt like they had to say something. Although, you know, all this stuff was in development. It's not like Marvel Rivals came out and they just made this shit in a weekend, you know. Like, this stuff had been in dev for a long time. But them laying out like a whole year roadmap was definitely a response to Marvel Rivals, for sure. All right.
Like competition's great.
Yep, 100% white competition's great. Because I definitely tried Marvel Rivals. I tried to get into it, and I was just like, this is just not for me. So I'm glad that the game that I do enjoy got a little kick in the ass. I think I got 3 tweets. Nobody ever responds to us on Blue Sky. Is anybody like interactivity on Blue Sky seems very low these days.
Yeah, I think there's just I don't know what I mean, it's got a decent base. Like there's a decent number of people on there now, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't. I
do know this. A lot of the interaction on X at this point is bullshit bots anyway.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But I do get responses from like our listeners on Twitter, but I don't get them on Blue Sky.
Gotcha.
So that's really what I'm looking. And like when I post stuff, a lot of times I'll bounce back and forth, and like if I post on Blue Sky, nobody says shit, which is crazy. But anyway, a couple tweets we got. Jeremy says, "Hey gents, hope all is well with y'all. I can't think of any questions, so I just want to say thanks for the show, and we'll try to be a better podcast listener next week."
Well, I'd say we'll try to be a better podcast next week, but let's be honest.
I mean, you know that's not true.
This is year 19, and we ain't got better yet.
Yeah,
so.
I'm coming up on 20 years, and the quality has never gone up.
And so really, if you're still listening, it's your fault.
That's I'm so glad we don't care about metrics, because I could just imagine like, we need you to listen to our show, but you shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I mean,
although if you're listening at this point, you know the score by now.
Yeah, and to be fair, like there was a discourse, I don't know if y'all saw this week, about Twitch streamers, and everybody was complaining about that dude that did the Batman stuff. Was his name Kai?
Kai Cenat.
Yeah, there was like a dialogue about how like, why can't everybody be like this? Well, there's a lot of money involved in that stuff, but at the same time, the other point of that argument was a lot of streamers just like sit there and chat while eating. I'm like, that's not really like content, is it? Like, did we just watch people eat? I mean, I guess some people watch people sleep, which is fucking weird.
I mean,
yeah, because that's a sub channel on there. I'm just sleeping, like literally. They just watch them, and I'm like, what the f are we doing?
It's creepy as hell.
That's creepy behavior right there. Like, I don't.
The Truman Show was not supposed to be inspirational.
Right.
Neither was Idiocracy, Anthony, but here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah. I mean,
it wasn't a documentary, but it kind of was.
No, this is far worse than Idiocracy.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Oh, I think so, because at least the people in Idiocracy are idiots. They're not malicious, but like, you know what I mean? It's stupidity. Like, there is maliciousness in the world, but like, we're not moving into that. We're not getting into that. I brought up fucking Truman Show because why would you want your entire life to be out there is beyond me.
Yeah, I don't
think. I
don't get it. And even weirder is that, and I say this because I have a fascination with them because it's like a mental illness that is still not fully explored. But like, there used to be, I want to say it was like the Truman Show complex where people had the delusion that their entire life was being watched. Okay?
Yeah.
And of course, like the Matrix, where everybody started to wonder if we were in a simulation. It's like, you only thought of that because you saw a movie. You know. Fucking cool thought, bro. There's people that have been thinking about that who are a lot smarter than you for years now, and they don't have a definitive answer. Anyways, there are now people who want to put their entire life online.
Yeah.
That's so weird. And I realize we're on a podcast, like.
Yeah, but I don't put my life out there, Anthony. Like, I don't.
Exactly.
I don't go into detail of what I'm doing every day, kind of thing.
Right, and that's the point where it's like, that is so weird to me. That, like, that is the thing. And it's like this weird popularity contest. No one gives a shit. No one gives a shit. And it's so fucking weird that
numbers
like,
go up.
They do go up.
Like Elatro.
Not for everyone.
No.
And that's just it. Like, it's that weird, and I it's that weird thing where it's like, why aren't you trying to be at least interesting? Like, you're just being you on camera all the time. And I think I really came to like a weird realization with that, because there's always been like clearly mentally ill people who should probably have someone in their life, I don't want to say dictate what they do, but like get them off the fucking internet. But then there's people that are like, my boyfriend broke up with me, and your first thought was to turn on a camera? Like,
right.
That's so fucking not okay. Like, that is so weird. Like, building sociopaths, Like, you're not feeling the emotion. You felt like you needed to turn on the camera to make content, first and foremost, not just feel something. That's... Like, at least with Kai Cenat, it does take a lot of money and time, and I don't think we know Kai Cenat, if that makes sense. But it's the people who are, like, far less popular who are doing all that stuff, like, I'm sleeping on stream or whatever, and it's not to, like, raise money for charity, it's just, like, to put yourself out there. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, I've never understood it. It's never made sense to me, and there's no way, like, if you're not entertaining me, why am I watching?
Right.
Like, I'm not going to watch a movie that's 2 hours of just somebody sleeping.
Like, there was a video I sent to Drew, and then Drew had to send back to me. It's like, this video has 2 views. That means you were one of them. And because it was recommended to me on fucking YouTube, and I was like, what the fuck? Why are you recommending me this video that has, like, no views? It has nothing to do with anything I've ever seen, but, I mean, I clicked on it, so clearly they knew something. It was a guy who has no training in playing the recorder, not even a flute, the recorder, was just playing along with stuff, and it was fucking terrible. And I was just like, what are we doing?
Yeah, but that's at least fun content. That's not like weird.
I mean, he just was sitting there just playing around.
I'm selling the rights to my life content.
That's true.
The stuff that's weird to me.
But it was like an hour long.
I mean, dude just wanted to record himself playing the recorder. Whatever.
Of all the goofy ass content that I've seen online,
I mean, it is on the higher end. I would never click on something lower than that. But even that was like, why wouldn't you just take some time to, practice beforehand?
Maybe that's his motivation to practice. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. There's some, and that is on the higher end. Like, there's some people out there just. There's a big difference between, like, someone, because there was a video that kind of went viral about a guy who was working at 7-Eleven and just was kind of talking about what he does and stuff. There was an honesty to it. It didn't feel like he was doing it for attention. He was just doing it.
Yeah, that to me is like that's content, right?
Mm-hmm,
What's weird to me is like the watch me eat. Or watch me sleep.
I'm gonna walk around and comment on things, but not really have any insightful things to say. I'm just gonna talk about my life, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, like I don't understand the like I said, the basically I'm selling you the rights to my life content. That's a little weird to me. But
as if your life has, and I mean this in the nicest sense, has some marketable value. First of all, don't lower yourself to that. That just is awful. And second, like, really? Like, what are you presenting? You're not making anything. You're just existing and being like, pay me. That's so fucking weird. And, like, the lowest form, like, that's something that we used to criticize, we as a society, criticize, like, the Kardashians for. Fucking, it's wild. The internet was a terrible decision, including this podcast.
Hey, we get more than 2 views on our YouTube videos, and that's not even like our prime listing mechanic. So,
well, we'd get a lot more if Anthony learned to play the recorder.
This is true.
No, you only get maximum 3, because then I'd send the video to Drew, and he would be like, "You're the only other person that viewed this." Fair
Hell
enough,
yeah.
Drew. I believe his response is, "How the hell did you find this?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "This means you were the second viewer." I'm like, YouTube. I don't know.
David writes in and says, I've become a picky purchaser of games. Over the years, I bought games day one and did not play much at all. With that said, when I saw RoboCop for $9, I jumped on it. I hope I play my $9 worth of it. You should. That game's awesome.
You will. Yeah, that game is awesome.
Out of that fucking game.
Yep.
Like, if you want to do everything, sure, but like a lot of that you can just kind of go to the objective and do.
Yeah.
It's not like you only just lose on upgrades potentially, but you can't get all the upgrades in a single run anyways. So
yeah, the only one you need is the nuts blowing up shot. Like that's
no, I'm not talking about even the gun. I'm talking the actual like skill tree sort of thing. Every safe you can find every safe combination somewhere nearby. You just gotta look for it. Like, so yeah, no, you will get. I think I paid 30 for it, 30 maybe 25 Canadian, of course. Fuck, that was probably my favorite game that I've played in the last couple months.
It's so good.
It's very good.
And finally, Shogun says, what the video game industry needs right now is fun. Studios are closing left and right because of the budget, and it seems they're moving further away from fun experiences. I have more fun with AA games than AAA.
I mean, my favorite game of last year was because it was fun, which was Sandland. I'm not going to tell you it's high art in terms of the writing. It's, it's functional. I don't think Akira Toriyama has ever been like the greatest storyteller, but he knew even in manga that and then anime, and you always do that. It's important to be fun, and Sandland is a great translation of that. And it's fun to blow up other tanks with a tank, that you get to customize, so it's yours. And then, get to explore a world and fight colorful monsters. And again, the story isn't the key aspect of it. Fun is. And I think my lists generally kind of view that way. Like, the year before, I think, was Pikmin. And Pikmin 4, which is fun. I mean, Nintendo kind of generally focuses on fun first and foremost. I think there's plenty of fun games. I think the issue is that, and this is a criticism not just of Sony, but it's going to sound like I'm mainly critiquing them. I think the critical praise, which I always sort of disagreed with, mixed with the money, like people were purchasing them, made the game industry think that they needed to be something other than video games, and like games should be fun. That's kind of the point of games. Now, there's definitely stories that can be told that are not fun per se, that use the game mechanics to tell the story. But like Uncharted was a big success, and I think other studios thought they needed to be at that level to exist. Sony even going so far in some ways, like Spider-Man is a fun game. Let's not put that in question at all. But it's also got a ton of production value behind it. And like, we played Spider-Man 2. Let's be honest, that wasn't the highest production game even for the time. And that game was fun. So it's not that the fun was impossible to do. And I have no issue with the amount of money they spent on Spider-Man. But Spider-Man 2 sounds like didn't sell enough, I guess, to make money back. And it's like, well, that's a problem. Like, did we need to make this game look as good as possible? Maybe not, but the gameplay elements were already there. But the rest of the industry followed suit, and Sony has a console to sell. The rest of the industry does not. Microsoft tried to do some of that too. I mean, I like Hellblade, but like, was that going to be your key title for a year?
No.
It wasn't a key title when the first game came out on multi-platforms. It was interesting. But like, I just think we focused. And this has been a criticism for a while, since the PS3 and Xbox 360 era, I think. Like, early 360 games feel very different than late 360 games. You've always had some, but like, Dead Rising was the sort of the big title at the beginning of the 360 PS3 era. And towards the end we were having Last of Us. And those are very different feeling games, because we wanted to move away from what make games and wanted to tell bigger stories and stuff. And it's like, you can do both. You know, Nier Automata is a fun game and is telling a deeper story. God of War is a great example as well, Sony. Then, you know, there's a bunch of stuff that falls through the cracks. And it's like, I just don't get why we couldn't be interesting still. Like, the PS2 era feels like a magical time, because you just had these people fucking testing ideas out. And it was like, well, we can't afford to do that anymore, because it has to be this high budget production. Like, I had hope in fucking oh god, what's the Nordic THQ Nordic, because I thought we were having a AA publisher back again, and even they thought they need to be bigger than. It's disappointing. Like, but I guess that's just the investment realm getting involved in games too much to some extent, right? Number has to go up.
Well, and it's also, I mean, the subset of people who are willing to overlook a game that doesn't look as good as they expect it to look on their modern console has gotten smaller and smaller over the years. I just think there's, you know, games that look the way people expect games to look on PlayStation 5 and Series X are not cheap.
Nope. They cost a lot of money.
That's one of the reasons why AA games have disappeared, is because what's gotten more expensive is the visual side of it. And it's you know, there are people who can overlook, you know, I'm one of them, who can overlook the way a game looks if it's a great experience, but there's a lot of people who aren't willing to do that, and that makes games more expensive. I mean, think about every time a game comes out now, the first pieces of feedback you see about it are always related to how it looks.
Yeah. I don't need to see the fucking follicles on the foreskin, you know? Quoting a fucking internet meme. That's a joke from it's a animation short from fuck, I don't remember which, called Yugi No, and Kaiba says, "I've analyzed your every move, every follicle on your foreskin."
Oh, he did. Yeah, my kids. Yeah, okay, that's the one. Yeah, I've seen that anime.
Yeah.
Or animated thing. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. But it's just like, you know, it's every blade of grass moves. I remember when they showed the PS5 Pro thing, and they had to zoom in so goddamn much, and they're like, the glass is see-through now. Okay? Like, it was see-through before. It just wasn't completely transparent.
So at the same time, the floor of what people expect from games to look like has risen. The ceiling for what they can look like hasn't risen as fast.
No, you could show me a PS3 game and a PS5 game, and
right,
there's not a huge difference.
And so you end up with this stuff where people expect stuff to look a certain way as a floor. But then everything ends up looking so close to the same that they invest all this money in stuff like ray tracing and stuff like that, that a lot of people can't even see or tell the difference in.
No, you show me a game that has ray traced reflections and a game that has, you know, the standard screen space reflections. I'm going to be like, okay, looks fine.
It's not a problem that's ever going to get better. In gaming, this whole notion of the floor of what people expect increasing and the ceiling for what's possible not increasing at the same rate. I'm afraid that's here to stay in the medium.
Yep. That
PlayStation, my point.
PlayStation 5 Pro being $700 and the game's really not taking any advantage of it.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. Like, I have to write a review of that thing, and I'm going to tell you it's a great piece of hardware that literally like nobody needs. And that's what it is. $700 that you don't need to spend because your PS5 is damn good enough. It's crazy. Like, I don't know how you sell the PS6 and Xbox Series, whatever the fuck. Like, you got to have something
Isn't it
besides...
funny that we have no idea how to classify what Xbox will call their next system?
Well, they've never called the same system twice, so I have no clue.
I know.
I mean, it was always the same with Nintendo. Like, what's the new Nintendo called? I don't fucking know.
Right. At least they're not using fucking... They're not being like Xbox 360, okay? Xbox One. Alright. Xbox One X, okay? Xbox Series X. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you... You are purposely making this as difficult as possible. No different than PlayStation with their fucking PlayStation Plus shit.
I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of...
The one I hate the most of that list, by the way, is Xbox One, because it makes it more difficult than it should be to talk about the original Xbox.
Oh yeah, you have to call it the OG Xbox or the original Xbox or...
Right.
But like, you want to talk about something that drove me crazy. Like, a lot of tech companies do this. Like, iPhone makes sense because it's numbered. Okay.
Right.
But like, I was researching like those 8-bit DOE controllers. You know how many of them are just called Ultimate 2? Like, there was no, like, what are we looking at? Like, what's the difference? Like, well, this one has this, and this one, I needed a fucking graph chart. Like, just...
Yeah.
God. I don't know. It's crazy, man. Like, I don't even know what to expect from PlayStation 6, to be honest with you.
Me neither.
Anyway. That's it. That's all I got. If you want to tweet at us, it's at ZTGD Radio. If you want to send us a message on Blue Sky, we'd love to see it. It's at ZTGD Radio as well. If you'd like to send us an email, it's podcast@ztgd.com. I think that's all I have. Go play some video games. Stop worrying about... What's what'd you say it was? The follicles?
Follicles? The follicles of the foreskin.
Yes.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Just play the game.
Stop worrying about that. Stop worrying about... I always think of the Red Dead testicles on the horse.
The horse. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
They can tell when it's cold. I can also see when the game is cold because there's goddamn fucking snow.
Right.
What are we doing here?
Oh, Lord. Video games, man, they're not that serious. Just have some fun.
Can't wait to gas up cars in fucking GTA 6.
That's what I tell... like, that's my best advice for people. Like, think about the last time you had fun playing a video game. That was probably the right game. Like, stop worrying about what it looked like. Don't think about what it looked like. Like, you don't remember all these little details. You remember that cool moment that you were like, holy shit, that was fun.
Yeah.
At least that's how I am.
Yep.
So. Anyway, that's it for this week. Unless anybody has anything else, we'll get out of here. Peace, bitches.
Alrighty. And it goes something like this.